paid for the classes, paid for the coach, the mentor, the 3-day class. That at the time was like 35 grand, put it on credit cards, didn't have the money, didn't do any stuff. So I would argue to say that it's been well worth it at this point. Yes, I did. Very, very much worth it. I would do it again in a heartbeat.
So this is really interesting. I appreciate you being transparent, right? Because that's more or less the going rate is somewhere between, I'd say 30 to 50K for a program like this. And that sounds like an exorbitant amount of money to a lot of people. It's like, oh my gosh, it's so much money. Yeah. And lots of people go along with that, right? Like jump into that program. So what I will say is coming back to what we talked about very early on is grit. From my perspective, they do give you tons of tools and tons of things that they've done and don't do, and underwriting tips and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you still have to do the work. They're not going to do it for you. And so that's always my key takeaway is like, yes, that cost you 35 grand, but at the end of the day, you still had to follow those things and put in the effort.
The reality is everything that they provide or anyone else does, it is 100% free online, on YouTube, on these podcasts. Like there is no new information. And so you could just go get it for free. But if you do nothing with it, what's the difference?
Yeah, I think the cash is a huge motivator. It's like if it's on your credit card, it's like, well, I better do something with this. So there is something mental about that as well. So we put on an event. The next one will be October 6th, actually. Okay. But part of that too is like education, and it's like $600 for a ticket. And so we're not really selling anything per se, but all the stuff you gain there, right? Like all the stuff, we're like totally there at every meal. Like all of us are completely there and open and honest. All of the tips, like you said, are nothing new, right? It's all like completely available. But for some reason, like when people gather like that, like in groups or in those masterminds or whatever it is, like something extremely powerful about your money on the, because it costs money to travel there and hotel and the ticket price is just one piece of it. So if someone spends $2,000 for a weekend to come to our event, we certainly hope that they will use the tools we're providing. And it's obviously a different price tag, but that's the goal.